It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was
What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Texas to Tennessee podcast. Uh, I'm Soul Gravy. We are Steveless tonight, so all hell may break loose like always. You know, when the parents are gone, there's no telling what the kids will do. But tonight, this is Joey Green. Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you, brother. Through the internet.
Um, we were in the same room apparently at Stocktober Fest 2025, but I didn't get to meet you. It was a
Yeah, like six
whirlwind
days ago.
for a few
6 days
hours.
ago.
I know, it's crazy. I wish I would have known. We could have linked up before then, but uh, glad that you were able to go. It was a really cool event for a bunch of different reasons. Hopefully, a lot of the different artists got to meet for the first time and maybe exchange some information. I thought that would be a really cool part of that event. So hopefully that worked out for some of
No,
the
I think
artists.
I think that's cool. I hope y'all continue to do it.
Well, that's all Steve. So kudos to him. I just showed up to look pretty. So
Well,
he
I
did a
hope you
hell
did a
he
good
did a hell
job.
of a job. He did a hell of a job, and it's I'm sure it's a work in progress and all that kind of stuff. But the intentions are meant well. So,
Oh yeah,
but if we were to ask, who the hell is Joey Green? What would you say?
man, I would just say I'm a dude from Fort Worth that writes songs and has been playing in a band for 24 years and releasing music since I think 2001. Um, just kind of grinding. I'm a lifer. For me, it was never about the big record deal. It was more about making a living and making a life of it. Um, so still doing that. Still plugging away, still promoting, still writing, still creating. The whole machine is a different beast now. So now there's funny content and reels and all kinds of stuff we're putting out. But mostly me, I'm just the baby of five that plays rock and roll. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Um, I think a lot of people we talk to, a lifer is what they hope to get out of the thing. There's tons and tons of people that say, if they can make a living doing what they love doing, then it's a they hope to do more than just scrape by. But if they get make a living doing what they love, then it's a win.
Yeah, and I think that works for everything outside of music too. I mean, if you love
You're right.
fashion, if you love painting houses, whatever it is, if you can do it and you're your own boss and you can kind of control, like, I think for me it's more about controlling my time, like when it comes to being like personal time, or I want to be able to play golf on a weekday. I want to be able to do these things. I don't want someone telling me I can't. So for me, it was like when I was 18, I was going to college, started playing gigs and making money playing gigs, and I was waiting tables and all kinds of stuff. And I just realized, like, if you're your own boss and you're kind of your own brand, there's money to be made if you go really put your mind to it and just hustle. So I've been doing that for 25 years.
Just like any other mom and pop business, right? I mean,
Yeah, you got to build it from nothing and hope you can sustain it. The beauty of music, though, and just a guy and a guitar, is the overhead can be pretty low.
I
So you can
understand.
get out, you can get out there and
It's
yeah,
when you
it's when
start
you
adding
start
those
adding
lead guitar
managers
players.
and lead guitar players. Yeah. And you've got to print some merch and you got to make a full band record. Yeah, it can get expensive, but ultimately I think it's one of the most sustainable gig economy gigs if you have the capacity and you've learned the skill and you've kind of honed your craft, that you can really just get out there and hustle and play gigs. And yeah, sometimes you're going to do cover band stuff or like cover gigs or play your own stuff, but there's always light at the end of that tunnel. There's the rewarding shows and then there's the work shows, but that's just kind of comes with the territory.
Work show is a good way to put that. I mean, I'm a cover band barroom musician,
Hmm.
but even some of those, or I would do that show over again for nothing. And then there's some where you earn every
Oh,
that you make on those nights. Like it's some
the
of them can
casino.
be, some of them can ruin your soul, you know.
Well, like some of those are like the casino gigs. Like we did a casino gig. I won't mention the name of the place, but I can tell you the state it was in. It was in New Mexico, and it was one of those 3 1 hours with a 30-minute break. And some of those travel casinos you can't drink. So being a band that's used to playing dive bars and dance halls and just venues where it's like, oh yeah, I need my shot of Jaeger and my pre-show beer, and that doesn't happen. And then you're trying to play original music to people that just want to hear Neon Moon
Right.
as many times as you can play it. Those are soul sucking. And then when you go to the blackjack table and they take the rest of your soul, it's like, oh, it's like, oh man, get me back to Texas.
uh, well, there's I'm sure there's a song in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this question is the one normally Steve asked, and then we always kind of somewhat joke. It's somewhat true that after this question, it's all downhill from here. But this is called the pie question. It's a musical pie, and it's divided up into four sections. All right,
Okay.
songwriting, performance, studio, and then everything else, the business, the social media, everything that all the artists really love, right? Which one of those which one of those things is home for you?
I would say home for me is the songwriting part.
Okay.
Yeah, songwriting, and then second home would be performance.
Which one do you actually most time doing?
I think performing because songwriting is a long game on the old Skrilla in your pocket. Performing is more instantly gratifying, and it's the bill paying. So you, like I guess depending on where you started and what trajectory you take, it's like for songwriting sometimes that's the meat and taters of your income when you're playing music. But I started performing, so my meat and taters, the big bread is on the performing side because I've just built all those relationships with venues and even like private parties, or playing the same birthday party every year and same corporate party every year. So like for me, performance has always been, that's just where the bread and butter is. That's kind of the small business part of it because you got
Mm-hmm.
employees, you got the band, you got the tour manager, you got the merch. That's the small business. The songwriting, you could do that from home, and it could be a side gig or it could just be all the money gig, and you never have to leave the house.
So as far as whenever you started this music thing, just even before it became something you wanted to do full time, is it what was it more about the performance or was it the songwriting from the beginning,
It was. I think in the beginning
or a little of everything?
it was kind of about being cool, honestly. And when you're 18, it was like, oh, this is cool. And I mean, I started playing guitar when I was like 14. I wrote my first song when I was 14. So the songwriting bug
Okay.
was an immediate thing. I think my
Mm-hmm.
first song was like a praise and worship song that I sang at church camp, and I played it for like my youth minister, like one of the people in the youth group ministry, and he was like, "Man, you got to play this on Saturday night before Caveman's Call," which was a big, Christian band back then. I don't know if they're still around or not. And I was like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I brought my guitar up there and I played, got my standing ovation for my praise and worship song, and then I was like, just that kind of glory right there at 14 at church camp when you got all the emotions and hormones and the fit in and trying to figure out who you are. There's so much going on there. It was just like, oh, this is who I am. Like right then, it was kind of like a thing. It was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. And then so I continued to do that and play in the youth group thing at my middle school and high school. And then I got an FFA, and my brother showed me Pat Green and Cross Canadian Ragweed. And I was like, oh, I was like, this is not what's on the radio. This is, a but more budget recordings and just kind of garage bandy at times. And I was like, I can do that. We can do that. We can start there. So put a band together when I was a senior in high school, and I had like a 31-year-old lawyer playing guitar for me, all kinds of wild shit. But it was just like, it was makeshift. My first gig with the band, I met the band at the gig. I didn't even know them. They didn't know my songs. We loaded in at like 3 p.m. and we rehearsed until showtime. Like, and it still sucked. My mom's got a VHS of it somewhere. And I mean, it's just like, if it wasn't just four chords, if it had a change, it wasn't gonna go good.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a train wreck, and all my friends were there to see it. But like everybody showed up. It's
Yeah.
the first gig.
As
But
long as you play those covers, those certain songs, nobody cares how
oh
bad
yeah,
it is except
the
for the band,
Joker and
right?
Sweet Home Alabama came out, and we were fine. Played Boys
Exactly.
from
Exactly.
Oklahoma. But yeah, from there, it was just one of those things, man. It's like you just build it, and if this is as bad as it gets, which was that gig, I don't think I've ever had a gig that bad musically. If we're starting
Understand.
here, it only gets better. So
Well, one of the cool things about recording these things live is you have homies pop through, and one of them that just said hello is Roy Hudson. Um,
he's
which
a close personal friend of me.
that's what he just actually just said. My close personal friend Joey Green. I actually saw him at Stocktober, but I wasn't able to get around to say hello, which I missed out on that one. They were just on the podcast, so that was cool
Nice.
to see. And then was it Cheyenne Pitts? I believe
Oh
that's
yeah,
what that says. Sorry, I'm terrible. Or my eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
yeah. I just
Um,
produced a song on Cheyenne last week, so we're about to send it off to get
very
mixed and mastered.
very cool. Here I'm gonna put the name on the screen so that folks can pick that up and maybe go give them give it a follow
Yeah, give him a
and check
follow.
out the music when it. The other person you definitely don't need to follow is that guy right behind you on that vinyl. That guy that's so mean, and nobody likes Zach Wilkerson. There, he's like the meanest human ever. Uh,
Yeah, he's so mean.
if you, it's he exactly.
Like he looks
Uh,
like a guy that kicks dogs. Like
uh,
really pretty dogs too. Like not like mutts, like
no,
like
oh,
like golden doodles that like win
no,
shows.
God, the worst. Um, and I made a video on that album when Zach sent it to me, and showed the pretty vinyl it is and everything. And then our homie Joe Fink commented in the video, is like, "Hey, yo, check out the second vinyl." I didn't even look at I knew there was two, but I didn't pay
Right.
attention that there was two different colors. So now it's become this kind of running joke with me and Zach and Joe about, well, did you know that there was two colors in that random vinyl thing? So yeah, shout out to Zach. I love that guy. Was proud to meet him too at the Stocktober thing for the first time.
Oh, we're glad to have him in the Metroplex now. Out of the Panhandle and over here in the Metroplex, and he told me he moved to Little Elm, and I was like, oh, well, welcome. You're
Yeah,
close
that
now.
was. He's one of them that it doesn't take long to figure out why everybody thinks highly of him. So I
Oh,
had to
big
had
voice.
to bust him up a little bit on that one.
Oh yeah.
And he was the only person at Stocktober that played the electric, which I was not surprised by at
Oh
all.
yeah.
uh,
Yeah. His shows are called Solo Electric,
which is fitting, completely
which
fitting.
is fitting.
Yeah. All right. So eventually, you made a trip to Nashville. How did that work? As far as, were you already making trips to Nashville and then decided to make
Yeah,
that trip?
kind of. I started going up there in 2011.
Okay.
Um, we had we had booking with Red 11 back then with John Folk, and I'd gone up there for a meeting, and then I met with the producer, Ken Coomer, and I made a couple records with him, like two and a half records with him, and then but immediately when I went up there in 2011, it was just like, and it's not the same Nashville anymore, I'll tell you that much. But like
Understand.
in 2011, it still had a thing that just like kept drawing me into that town. So when I was 30, I was probably 33 when I moved up there, and I felt like I was aging out of the opportunities that would come with like a record deal or any of those kind of things. So I was like, I better get up there and get going. So I'd kicked the can down the road a little bit. You know, I thought I was going to get married down here, and that fell through. So I was like, you know what? I ain't got nothing holding me. I'm going to Nashville. So when I spent about 9.5 years up there, and
Mm.
then made my way back home. You know, I wrote some of what I would consider some of my best songs up there with some of my favorite people in the world, favorite writers, artists. Like most, the best music you'll never hear, to be honest. The best band in the world never
Mm.
left the garage, type thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then I scored a pub deal with Warner Chapel for 18 months, and then that kind of fizzled out because we had a loss at the top, at the upper echelon of power at Warner Chapel, and things kind of fell apart for not just me, for a lot of people. And
Right.
for me, it was like, oh man, if my cheerleader's not there anymore, it's kind of like just kind of let this thing go. And then I got in a relationship down in Texas, and I was like, you know what, it'd be fine to go home. We have the internet now. I don't have to live here to continue to be me and do what I do. It just doesn't. And I don't know if my liver could take more years of Nashville, you know, because there's something to do every night. And I'll tell you, the outcome versus the income in Nashville is so uneven. So it's like, and the FOMO is high. So you know, you think you're going to miss out on something and all these things. So I was always just coming back to Texas for 10 days and making a bulk of my money and then going back to Nashville. And I was just moving it from local economy to local economy. But
Mm.
for me,
That's
I mean, I'm going back to Nashville on the 10th of November, playing a whiskey jam thing for our booking agency showcase at Whiskey Row. And I'll probably stay up there and write some songs and hang out and reconnect with some folks. But it'll probably be more of a once every 6 weeks, go spend 4 days and write some songs. And my management's up there, my booking's up there. So there are meetings and things that I need to be up there for. But honestly, love Texas. I just kind of, you know, I love not having to drive 10 hours to a gig when all my shows are based around here. So,
that is that's an odd thing, you know, as far as you know, having to leave Nashville to make your money. When a lot of people would think it would be the other way around. You know, which is I understand that that's where you've built your following and your you know your
well,
fan
and
base and a lot of the musicians you know and things like that.
the money can be made there doing the Broadway thing, you know, and it's a grind.
Right.
For me, it was like an integrity based thing on like, I'm a songwriter. I have 9 records out. I've got 400 something songs. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to play All Summer Long by Kid Rock twice a night. You know, that's just
Mm-hmm.
not something that I did it. I mean, I did it at the Losers. I played at Losers in Midtown in the house band for like 2 years, and I did it, and you know, and it paid the bills when I was home. But I still needed that Texas money to really feel like I was thriving or something was growing, and not just this. You know, not just
Understand.
kind of.
Yeah, it does seem like the you know we've talked to several folks and that are in that scene and love it, but it seems like you kind of have to be okay with for lack of better words the wedding band thing. You
Yeah,
know,
and I think
it's like how creative do you want to be, you know, and where's your itch, you know, where do you need to scratch
right.
to feel right, and everybody's wired different, so
And I think the guys on Broadway, like as far as the side guys, like the drummers, the bass players, guitar players, those guys, they're just trying to be seen to get on the tour, you know, because
mm,
tours aren't constant. And so they're just filling their calendar with that stuff, and they're keeping their chops up, and they're making some money doing it. And they'd probably be out drinking tequila whether they were playing or not. So,
right.
but like for the front people there, I feel like the niche there is if they're entertainers, that Broadway is more for the entertainer.
Yeah, I could
And
see that.
I feel like for the songwriter is the songwriter rounds, and then for the artist is the road. Like
Hmm.
the artist wants to be touring. Um, that's just my take on it. It might be different for other people, but that's just
Yeah,
kind of what I took from it was like, oh, these are entertainers that get the crowd pump up. They're hype guys. They're running around with the tip jar. They got all these things, walking on the bar, whatever they're doing. Very touristy and very cool. Just not me, because I'll break that door on the bar. That the well door. If I walk on that, I'm falling through it. Show's over. Like that's not me.
yeah, I would be yeah, I'd be the square peg round hole, and it just would not fit me and my personality either. So, I completely understand. And when you were talking about going back to Texas, to pay, for lack of better words, again, to pay your mortgage, that's a conversation we had with Adam Hood.
Oh yeah,
That I've heard him talk about a lot. He's a Bama guy, but he makes that trip. He loves Texas, and Texas loves him because they've been paying his mortgage for years, which is an odd. It's an odd situation. You would think as great as Adam is and other artists that even their area would support them, but for whatever reason, it's Texas that
and
keeps a
it's
lot of families fed.
yeah, it does. I think we have like what Texas mostly has is a sustainable scene
Okay.
industry. We don't really have like the industry. The labels, the publishers, the booking and management offices based here. I mean, we just got Big Loud and we got BMI in Austin, so it's slowly doing its thing. But as far as a scene and a place to just tour, you can never leave the state of Texas and hit every market every 8 weeks and sustain. Randy and Wade do it. There's so many people that
Oh,
do it and do it
yeah.
very well, and it's not nothing to scoff at, far as the living goes. And I mean, I'm at a way lower level than them, and somehow I'm still doing fine.
Still
Yeah, still
understand.
making a living.
Understand. That's a strange thing though. As far as where folks would have to come into that market. You were born and raised in that market, and then there's a lot of artists that have to come into it to not to have to in a bad way, but that's their bread and butter, which is at least it's there. At least there is that market, or that situation where artists can come in and make a living. So
Oh
uh,
yeah,
good on that. Well, let's see. I think let's go ahead and go to your song, and then we'll move backwards from that. Your
cool.
latest release is a single called Dive Bar. You want to
Dive
kind of give
bar.
us yes, sir. You want to give a little backstory on that, and we'll give that a play.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we wrote that during COVID, and it was me and my buddy Ryan Garrett and Brad Irby, and we were just kind of, we were all kind of on house arrest. So, but
Hmm.
the one bar that down the street from the house was Alley Pub there in Bellevue, and it was just our dive bar. And we got the news about Joe Diffie passing away from COVID, and it just we were
Okay.
like, Joe, well, prop him up. All the posts were like, well, prop him up beside the jukebox. Everybody saying these kind of things, and like the idea for the song kind of came as a tribute to that. But like, well, if I die, bury my heart under the dive bar, because that's where I want to be. Is at a dive bar with my boys, taking shots and talking music and watching Cowboys football. You know, um, so that was where the song came from. Took a while to get it, on a recording, on a record, and we had it on our last EP on Heart Lessons, and I started working with a guy out of Dallas. He's like, man, I want to make this like even more rock, because we were playing it safe. We were trying to keep it, to where it still had a country thing, but it was a rock thing. And he was like, no, it'll be more country if you go further rock. And he was like, because then it'll get more attention. So we just did we added some flavor to it, recut the vocal and added a guitar solo and some other things to the old recording and had it remixed and mastered. And now it's a little heavier, and we're just pushing it as hard as we can.
All right, here we go.
Dive bar.
They pull me dirty black label off a shelf. Hell, it's bad for my health, but I'm gonna drink it anyway. Every love I ever had left me for dead. Surprise, I'm alive, I ain't going down that easy. But if I do, yeah, you can bury my heart under a dive bar. Wrap my tombstone up in neon. Eulogize me with some old hang. A little telly spank on some corner jukebox. Light one up and pull yourself a strong one. Don't waste any whiskey on me, 'cause I'll be 6 feet down, rocking in the underground with the devil and some Tennessee. Well, I don't need me a plot in your graveyard. You can bury my heart underneath the dive. There's only holy fire, water, and beer in here. A bar fight every night. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lick in down for the count. Run your mouth, knock him out. Stone cold killer with her hand on my thigh. Boys, if I don't survive, you can bury my heart under a dive bar. Wrap my tombstone up in neon. Eulogize me with some old hang. A little telly spank on some corner jukebox. Light one up and pull yourself a strong one. Don't waste any whiskey on me, 'cause I'll be 6 feet down, rocking in the underground with the devil and some Tennessee. Well, I don't need me a plot in your graveyard. You can bury my heart underneath the dive bar. It's where I get high, feel alive. Oh, but if I die, Lord, if I die, you can bury my heart under a dive bar. Wrap my tombstone up in neon. Eulogize me with some old hang. A little telly spank on some corner jukebox. Light one up and pull yourself a strong one. Don't waste any whiskey on me, 'cause I'll be 6 feet down, rocking in the underground with the devil and some Tennessee. I don't need me a plot in your graveyard. You can bury my heart underneath the dive board. Go on and bury my heart underneath the dive board. Go on and bury my heart underneath the dive board.
Yeah, man.
Oh, rock and
I'm
roll.
glad you explained the backstory on that with the Joe Diffie thing and all that. That ties it all. That makes the circle complete. Listening to that earlier today. Um, um, yeah, that's pretty damn cool. When you got to sit there and listen back to that, I know you've had to, many times recording it or whatever, but you sat there that whole time and we're listening to it. What kind of goes through your head? Are you like nitpicking it apart? Are you remembering the people that you made it with, or what's going on?
I don't know. I think for me, it just gets me pumped up when it hits that
Okay,
chorus. It's like, man, why didn't I have this in the locker room in high school? Because like that's one of those
right.
songs that when you play that at halftime, I'm like, you know what? We could go die out there. Like, who cares? Let's go whip their ass. Like that was what I wanted from it. Like when we were in the studio, I was like, man, can we just go like Rage Against the Machine Audio Slave on the chorus? And I already had the riff, and then the guy he's like, yeah, let me find the tone. I said, Tom Morello, that thing or something cool. And then sure enough, it was like, oh, there we go. All right. All right, Ostrander. Thank you, sir. And
Once it was there, you knew what it then
Yeah,
that's
and
a perfect fit.
once the drummer, I mean, once the band came together, it's all Nashville guys that are they're badasses. Like, but it was like once it came together, and that's the beauty of working with those guys up there is just they played so many different kinds of music and so many different songs. Explaining your vision to them and them just grabbing it like that is just like, oh, okay. I thought this was going to be hard for me. All I got to do is sing now.
Mm.
So and match what and hopefully sing as good as what y'all just did. So Jesus. So,
Pressure's on now, right? You mentioned folks that are in the business. They're not gonna they'll already know all of this stuff. But part of the deal with that we like to do on the podcast, I don't know if we do as good of a job as we want to, but is to explain a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff and the not so great stuff and the hardships and whatever the, what it takes for you guys to make a living. And when you said you had a pub deal, I should have asked this earlier, but can you explain to just the regular, Joe, that what's a pub deal and
okay.
why are people kind of chasing those things?
Well, on the pub side, well,
I shouldn't
even
say
just
chasing. That sounds bad, but you know
well, it's
what I
not
mean.
chasing it, but like, why would it benefit you to have one? Well,
Right.
if you don't want to run down all your royalties, they'll run all that down for you.
Okay.
Um, and you get like a monthly draw, so it's almost like you get a salary based on your futures predictions.
Okay.
So in a way, so like to help you sustain if you want to stay in right, they say they put you on a salary of 50 or 70, depending on what the music you already have out's doing or the cuts that you have with other artists. They'll base what that draw, that paycheck will be on that most of the time. For me, it was like just to have them plug songs that weren't home for me with me. Like I can't record all 400 songs,
I got you.
and
Yeah.
they don't belong necessarily with me as an artist. Yeah, I wrote them, but they belong with somebody. And for me, it was like to work with a publisher to try and find a home for all these songs that I believe in, and if you can find somebody else that believes in it as much as I do, well, then let them record it, let them put it out on the record, and see what happens. So mostly for me, it was like having a team, a cheerleader. They have a sync side where they can, you can get movie placements, TV placements, all those things. That's just really harder to do independently than it is to have a publishing company. And nowadays,
Right.
publishing has become almost the developmental wing of the label. So if
Okay.
you blow up independently, but then they'll sign you to a pub deal, and then they'll keep watching your numbers, and then if they see that you're a worthy investment for a label, for a record deal, then they'll do a master's track on you, maybe a 5-song EP, maybe a 4-song record, 4 album deal. You never know. So, but there's benefits and there's not benefits. Like with me, I don't have any like major label cuts really. I just have like some Casey Donahue cuts and Bart Crow and George Dukas and some independent guys that do decent, but nothing on the major label level. But now they have my songs. It's all in their catalog. So you never know. Somebody's going to stumble across a Joey Green song 5 years from now when I'm stocking lumber at the Home Depot, and I just get a call that, hey, this kid, have you heard of him? His name's Hudson Westbrook. He really likes this old song of yours. Well, I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Whatever. Get me out of Home Depot. Y'all flying me up? What am I doing? You know.
Right.
So I think for me, it's like I'm not a business guy. I'm not a book guy. I'm not a accounting or computer guy. None of that stuff for me. So to just have a team of people to handle that for you, so you can focus on what you're good at, which is the creative side and the artist side.
Hmm.
For me, it's like, okay, one less headache. Now I can focus on the music.
So as far as having those cuts from Bart and Casey Donahue, I mean that's nothing to sneeze at. And there's tons of people that would be would love to have that on their resume. That being on your resume, does that help with the booking side and gigs to that
I would
any
say,
or just
I think it's just another little bullet point on your resume. on your one
Mm-hmm.
sheet, your EPK, whatever you want to say. It's just like being on The Voice. Like, oh, I mean, 63 people lose The Voice every season. Only one
Mm-hmm.
person wins it. So it's like, and half the time the people that win it, sometimes it works out great for them, sometimes it doesn't. But for me, it's just a resume builder because I think if I was booking someone, if I was buying talent, I'd be like, oh, this guy actually has been doing it this long. He he has
Mm-hmm.
names that also recognize he's good at his job. So it's just that getting that being what's the word? Validation, I guess, having some validation from
Yeah.
outside interest
Yeah.
in your music. The Voice, somebody validating you, say, yeah, he can sing. Yeah, he's a performer. He can do all these things. So sometimes people just need to be told by someone higher up than them that to trust it, if that makes any sense. So I think it helps in that regard for sure.
Especially when there's so many people trying to get those gigs.
Right.
That's, like you said, that's just makes your resume stand out more than some of the others. And yeah, I didn't bring that up. Joey was on The Voice. I believe it was 2018, I believe,
Yeah, 2018.
something like that. And then we've got another person in the chat, old Justin Ross, sup ladies himself. Well,
Oh
kind of.
yeah.
He said kind of like the one that you and I wrote. So that shout
Oh
out to
yeah. I got one on his new
Big
record.
Justin.
It's I don't remember what we called it. I called it Ghosts, but he called it something else. But
Well, that one will get you in all the gigs, though. That's the one to really hang your hat on is Big Justin there.
oh yeah.
Speaking of opening spots, who are? I mean, I'm not. I guess I'm asking you to name drop, but you've been at this a little while, but when you find yourself in some positions and some opening spots that you're like, how the hell did I wind up here? You know what I mean? How did I get on the stage with this person? Um, give me some of those moments that you've had in your career.
Man, I mean, sure. I mean, in the Texas scene, there's probably not one I haven't really played a show with. But I think some of the cooler stuff was like when you're doing like a radio show and the guy playing next to you is a nobody, and then it turns out to be Parker McCollum,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, and it's like, oh wow, I was doing something wrong. I should have been taller and handsomer. Uh, but just stuff like, well, and the cool thing about, like, I played a thing in Fort Worth, a radio show with Parker, and he was just singing the song that I play. He kept just singing the melody over and over, and I'm like, bro, whenever you want it, it's yours now. Like, if you want to cut it, come on, cut it. But no, just stuff like that. I mean, we've done shows with. I did shows with Miranda Lambert at the very beginning of me and Charlie talking coming out. We got to do Billy Bob's with Laney. We played the front stage, but we were an opener, I guess you want to call it. But some of that stuff, I mean, the cool stuff to me is just playing with your buddies um, in
Mm,
remote locations. Like, oh, we're going to Mexico and we're playing on the beach for a week, or we're going to London and we're going to Ireland. Those kind of things are that's the bonding experience I like. But I mean, it's kind of whatever. I mean, the whiskey jams you want. I go back and look at the whiskey jam lineups, and I'm like, oh god, that guy was on that. I don't even remember that guy was on that. You're on that same bill, so it looks good in a poster. It would be great in my new house to frame some of that stuff. But for me, it's like I think we're all equal until we're not. But I think we're all still just peers because we all got in it kind of for the same reason. So it's like we all got in it because we love playing music. We're good at playing music. We like the lifestyle that comes with playing music. We like the dream chasing part of it. So for me, it's like there's no one particular special person that I'm like, oh man, I dreamed of this. Now, when I was 19 years old and we opened for Ragweed at the original Wormy Dog in Stillwater, I've never
okay.
had
Yeah.
my leg has never shaken more throughout an entire set because I'm 19 and there's this 6'7" Oklahoma Sooner with an afro and 2 pitchers of beer from like me to my phone right now. And I'm having
Mm.
to sing my little original songs in front of this guy. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I'm 19. I can't even drink. I already smell like booze because you're spilling it everywhere. Like those were the nerve wracking. I think it's more nerve wracking and crazy when it's like you show up to a gig and it's sold out. And you're like, oh, I'm used to playing where there's nobody here. So, so getting in front of crowds. I mean, opening for Casey at Green Hall on a sellout was a really cool show. I mean, it's just kind of all the same. It's all the same to me, but different at the same time. I guess it's like
Understand. Understand. You've been at it long
I don't
enough to
think
take
any of
the
them are
highs with the
special.
lows.
I don't think any of them are special.
Including you, Justin
Yeah.
Ross. Shout out to Joe Fink in the chat. Another one of the cool cats in that scene that I've met recently. Just all around music lovers. So shout out to Joe. All right, well we'll get into some rapid fire questions and get you out of here.
All right.
As far as any other things that are might be coming down the line, anything we need to make sure everybody knows about? I mean, go stream your music, follow you on all the socials.
Yeah, yeah. The
Uh,
website's joeygreenmusic.com. Socials are all Joey Green Music. Um, Verde Vacated, my trip that I do to Mexico, coming up this summer will be year 5, so it'll be the 5th annual. TexasMusicGetaway.com is the access for that. That should go on sale about end of November. And then starting in January, we'll start announcing the lineup, an artist a month. But and that's always a fun thing. It's a week in Mexico, playing on the beach, laid back thing. But outside of that, that's about it.
Good deal. Yeah, make sure you go follow the socials and wherever you stream your music, hit that follow button there too. We were talking about the resume thing and the all the sales pitch that artists have to have. Um, Joey, including Joey, but also any independent guys that you run across and you like their music, hit that follow button on all wherever you stream your music, just because it helps. One, you'll know when they release new music, but also it helps the resume. So
Oh yeah.
for the bookings and everything else, just makes life easier for the guys, and it doesn't cost you anything. All right, rapid fire questions. If we go to one of your shows, what's a cover song that might be in your full band set?
Oh, it could be "What's Up" by Four Non Blondes, "Fortunate Son,"
Okay,
Credence, Clearwater Revival, "The Middle" by Jimmy Eat World, "Torn" by Natalie and Brugula. I mean, it's all over the place.
that's
Iris,
cool.
yeah.
Good deal. All right. What was the first concert you ever went to? And then what was the first concert that you paid to go to yourself?
Okay, first concert I ever went to, I believe, was Pat Green at Green Hall on St. Patrick's Day. I think it was like
Okay.
16. First thing that felt like a concert, not just like going to somebody's gig.
Right.
Uh, yeah, Pat Green was probably my first concert. That's if you don't count LFO and Mandy Moore, because that was like a benefit concert. But yeah, my first
Well,
concert.
LFO and Mandy Moore is what we're shooting for when we ask those first concert
Yeah,
things, because
yeah,
it can be something that's funny. So that was the point. So
yeah. LFO and Mandy Moore at Brewer High School Stadium. I went to that, and then yeah, Pat Green. My first paid show that I went to watch Ragweed at the Gypsy Tea Room in the ballroom right before. This is right after they signed their deal with Universal and the Purple album was coming out. They kind of like announced it in the posters as you're in line for the show. And they had just like, and I was such a teenager and just stoked. I was like, they signed a record deal. And then we just partied. But like, it was one of those things. That was that band that you were just like, man, I really hope big things for these guys. This is the stuff I like. So that was my first paid concert. And it was like the first time my parents were going to let me
tell
go to
by the you.
Dallas. What?
I got you. Yeah, if people can't tell from the username, that's that that started off as a TikTok username, but it was because that was one of my I was late to the Texas red dirt, whatever you want to call it, party because of me being in it's not like that stuff was as prevalent here, but um, I did get to see Ragweed back in the day at a punk rock bar. So um, yeah, that's they were one of them that led in some ways led us where we're at right now. So
Oh yeah.
um, glad to see those guys are getting along and doing their thing. Happy for everybody involved. So all right, bucket list venue. You've been at this a little while. Not that you're old, just seasoned. What bucket list venue maybe in the state that you haven't played, and for sure one outside of the state?
All right. In this state, bucket list venue in this state. Hmm. Probably the Moody Center in Austin, something
Okay.
like that, or the Bass Performance Hall in Fort Worth. That's one of the nicest theaters we have here in Texas. And then outside of that, the Ryman, obviously the Ryman in Nashville.
Understand. In the state of Nashville country music, sometimes the Ryman and the Grand Ole Opry get lumped into those that fluff pop whatever category. But then you talk to artists, and they still mean a shit ton to artists, and because of the history and everything else, it still means a lot. Even though what you hear on the radio, you wouldn't think so. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Green room. What would be your go-to green room? You don't have to name a venue, but what would be in it?
What would be in it? Well,
Yep.
Chesterfield style sofas of the camel color,
Okay.
dark green walls, mahogany woods, old record player with a bunch of British records, the Who and Rolling
And
Stones and stuff like
and Zach
that.
Wilkerson.
And Zach Wilkerson's, yes. And then there'd be a Guinness on tap and no one would touch it, but it would be there in case.
Okay.
And there'd be Jägermeister, Jack Daniels, some Coke Zeros, some Chewy
Got to offset
Sprees.
the sugar. I got you.
Yeah, Chewy Sprees, and mostly just charcuterie boards with
Okay.
the
I
blue
got
with the
it.
blue cheese olives. For
All
real.
right, we'll try to make all that happen for you.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, one more, and then the final question. When I say sad song, what is the first song that comes to mind?
Whiskey Lullaby.
That's a great choice. I heard that again a couple days ago for the first time in a while, and I guess because it had been no telling how long since I'd heard it, I was like, damn, that's a good song. Like I'd
Yeah.
kind of forgotten how good that was. All right. Like we said earlier, make sure you go follow Joey on all the socials and wherever you stream your music. When artists post stuff, because they really love doing social media. That's a sarcastic comment. Make sure you engage, comment, and like and share because it sucks. A lot of them don't like to do it anyway, and if it falls on deaf ears, or at least that's the way it feels, it makes them even not want to do it even more if it's for nothing, or so it seems. So engage in those posts and let them know you saw it. Bullshit with them in the comments, even if it's not serious. All right. Speaking of not speaking of not serious, this started as a joke on episode 1, and now it is a requirement that we ask this question. Um, you didn't name this on your bucket list, but you might after this question. You might have forgot about it. So, Joey,
All right.
what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Oh, they don't make it anymore, bro.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
It was the banana twins,
Oh yeah.
the little banana
All right.
cakes with the cream in the middle.
Okay. Well, let me write that down. I'll get right on that with the HR department on Little Debbie. Tell them we are not accepting their sponsorship until they
Yeah,
bring back. I got it. All
those
right.
are they just melt in your mouth. And I'll tell you one thing, being Nashville moon pie country, the Little Debbie banana moon pie is better than the moon pie brand
And
moon pie, and I stand by it, and I'll go to my grave with it.
they're, I mean, I like a moon pie too, but they're dry.
They're very dry.
You got to have that. That's why they always had the RC cola and the moon pie, because you'd choke to death if you just ate the moon pie without something to drink. So,
Oh yeah.
all right, all right, Joey, man. Well, it was good to meet you. Hopefully we'll see you again at Stocktober 2026. We'll
Let's
get
go.
get Steve on that. So,
Rock and roll.
all right, yes, sir.
All
We'll see
right.
you.
We'll see it.